Nice guys finish last. One of the biggest lies you've probably ever been told. And I don't know where or when this phrase kind of gained traction for the first time, but what I do know is that it is complete and total bullshit. And if you're unfamiliar with what this phrase actually means, it kind of revolves around the idea that if you are a nice guy, if you're a good guy with pure intentions, that when it comes to getting girls, you are at a disadvantage, which is just not true. But with the way the world is today, with like hookup culture and this hyper obsession with how people look, I mean, it's not that crazy to believe because you see people all the time, the people that you'd probably call assholes or pieces of shit that, they don't have pure intentions, they don't have a pure heart, but they have no problem with girls. But the thing is, this phrase should not be nice guys finish last. In fact, I think it should be weak guys finish last because that is true. And so those assholes, pieces of shit that you think are just have some secret code to getting girls, it's not like they know something that you don't. They lack something that you have, which is simply a fuck to give. Because like if you see one of these guys walk up to a girl, there's a very slim chance that, and you know exactly what I'm talking about, the guys who just don't really care about relationships. It's just all about, hooking up and whatever. But they walk up to a girl, there's not a very high chance that they're thinking like, okay, this girl is beautiful, I have to lock this girl down right now, and I will do whatever it takes. They're probably thinking about a million other things and probably a lot of other girls. And so there's this sense of detachment there where they're not particularly concerned with like impressing this girl or securing her for a relationship. And obviously this is not the approach we are going for when it comes to finding and securing a girl, but you can learn something from this because this principle of not giving a fuck, really, it all comes down to the law of reversed effort. And it's such a weird phenomenon, but it kind of states that the more you try and cling on to something or pull something into your life, the more it tends to push itself away from you. But the more you tend to push something away, the more it tends to come back to you. And so what's happening with these guys who just seem to have no interest in some of these girls that they're securing and hooking up with, whatever, it's that there's just no interest there. So naturally the girl is just going to feel more drawn to them. And I'm not here to say that if you get a girl and you have a girlfriend that you shouldn't treat her like she's one of your biggest interests, because you should. But what I'm saying is you can kind of almost reverse engineer this by having some sort of big goal or higher purpose that you are pursuing that comes before practically anything else in your life. Because most of these like nice guys who are just stuck in this victim mentality of thinking that their niceness and their pure intentions are a weakness and it's keeping them from getting girls, the reason that this is not happening for them is because they don't have that higher goal or higher purpose. And so what goes on in their minds is that like their main priority in their life is finding that girl. They get trapped in this mindset of like, okay, if I can just find a woman, then my life will be better, which is never going to be the case. A woman has to be an enhancer to your life. She cannot be your entire life. And so when you go pursuing that and you find one that you are genuinely interested in and you want to secure, it's like you're going to be trying to cling on so hard to this girl. And so what's going to happen? She's going to push herself away, whether she realizes it or not. And you've probably experienced this before. I definitely have as a younger dude. They like when you are just trying everything you possibly can to secure this girl, it's like you're just waiting all day for her to text you back. And when she does, like you're responding like that. And then, over time, she gets sick of it because again, the law of reversed effort, the more you try and pull something into your life, the more it pushes itself away. And so without that goal or without that higher purpose that you're pursuing, it's like the only thing that you're going to be trying to pull into your life is that girl when it should be the top of a mountain that you're climbing, right? And so you can think of it like a Batman and Robin situation. Batman's higher purpose and goal is saving Gotham from evil and fighting crime and all that. But that does not mean he cannot love Robin, his sidekick, for who he is or whatever, or maybe it's Catwoman. But what if the entire story of Batman revolved around him trying to find a sidekick and he didn't have that higher purpose of saving Gotham that he could do by himself, and he was just trying to do everything he could to lock down a sidekick so that he could finally he wouldn't even know what's next. But that's kind of what you have to think of it as, because that mission, that goal, that higher purpose that you have in your life, or maybe you don't have it, but that is what has to be the driving force in your life. So whether or not you have a woman by your side, it doesn't matter. It's like you don't have a girlfriend, so what? We're pursuing the mission anyways. If I do have a girlfriend, great. She's a perfect sidekick. That's what you want out of a girl, is she's going to make your life better. She's going to help you along the way to that mission, to that ultimate goal on top of the summit, that's what she's for, right? And she's not going to be the thing that you find at the top of the mountain, because once you get there, then what's next? You have the woman, now what? And what's funny about this is that when you have this higher goal or higher mission that you're pursuing, it's like you kind of naturally step into this I don't give a fuck mentality. It's like, because everything else compared to the end goal of the mission is relatively unimportant. And again, I'm not saying that you can't treat a girl like she is your number one priority, because you definitely should. You should treat her the best you ever possibly could. But what I'm saying is, women think a lot like an investor would. And so like if you meet a woman and you are in a position where you're just stagnating in life and you're just kind of floating, or even worse, declining, like what do you expect her to hop on board for? She's not going to, there's no investment there. There's no return that she might get. But if you are climbing up, even if you were at the very, very bottom, but she sees you climbing, she sees potential there. And so what's going to happen is she's going to be much more driven or much more motivated to hop on that ride with you, even if you're not at the summit yet. But she wants to be there to support you and enhance your life while you pursue that mission. But what's important to note here is that you can do all of this while still being nice. Nothing in here, nothing that I'm saying requires you to be an asshole. In fact, being an asshole is just going to make everything so much harder, because there's people, it just blows my mind. There are literally people out there, dudes out there, that think they have to be some asshole to girls and just pretend like they don't care about them, that's going to make them get the girl. And no, they can see right through that. First of all, if they see you're trying to act a certain way that's not aligned with actually with who you are, they can see right through that. They're not going to appreciate it. It's going to make everything so much harder than it is right now. But naturally, as you kind of pursue this mission, no matter what it is, you're going to gain experiences and you're going to learn things that make you stronger. Because again, it's not nice guys finish last, it is weak men finish last. And so while you're climbing, you're getting stronger, you're still a nice guy, but the people at the bottom are looking up and they are imagining at the top of the summit a woman that doesn't want them at all. And they're wondering, how on earth are you climbing this mountain and you're not, and you're still a nice guy, right? That's what they're going to be thinking, because most of the time when people see a dude with a very attractive girl and maybe he's not as attractive, it's like he must have a bunch of money or he must have something that I don't. And most of the time that is true. And that thing that he has that you don't is that higher purpose, that higher mission that he's pursuing. And also every single thing that you could possibly want in this life, like people, opportunities, anything, is going to be found on the way up that mountain that you're climbing. There's no way around it, because you're going to get into a mindset, into a state of being where you're not looking for anything. It's like you're not searching out for people. You're not searching out for opportunities. You are on the path to where you want to go, to that mission, and things are just going to start finding themselves into your life. You're going to be attracting them without even thinking, because again, it's that law of reversed effort. It's like you're not trying to pull all these things into your life. You are headed in one direction, and people can see that, or opportunities can see that, but they're not actually seeing it, of course, but they will pull themselves into your life, whether you realize it or not. And you can think of it like this: if at the top of this mountain of your mission, of your true life's purpose, is the best version of yourself, the version that you know you can be, why would you expect to get a girl when you haven't even come close to that peak, or you haven't even started climbing? You're at the bottom and you're wondering, where is this magical girl that I just cannot seem to find? And she's waiting for you halfway up the mountain, or maybe even lower, but all you have to do is just start climbing, right? And that's really all it comes down to. And I just cannot stand when dudes are always whining and crying and saying like, girls don't like nice men. And it's just the biggest cope of all time, because girls do like nice men. You are just a weak man. And because if you think about it, they think this, like, they have this correlation between nice guys and good guys. If you were a good guy, you would not blame other people for your circumstances. You certainly would not blame a woman for why you can't attract them. You are just being selfish, and you have a victim mentality around pretty much everything, I assume. And so that's not going to get you anywhere. And trust me, I have been there so many times, especially like as a teenager, where I would just find a girl that I wanted so bad, and I would just do everything in my power to just cling on to her, and just everything that she wanted me to do, I would try and do. And it was just the most painful experience of all time. I mean, not painful, but it was never going anywhere, because if I got this girl that I wanted so bad, it's like, what's after that? I don't have anything else about myself, about my life, that she would even want to stay around for, right? And so that's just the true importance of actually having that mission. That, I mean, even if you're not there yet, she can join along for the ride. But please get the phrase nice guys finish last out of your brain as fast as you possibly can, because again, it's not nice guys finish last, it is weak guys finish last. You cannot confuse nice for weak. And if there is any reason why you're not in a place where you have bad luck with girls, it's because either first of all, she's just not interested in you in the first place, or you were just too weak and she does not see a future with you or potential to, lead her to a better future. And this is not me saying that I know a lot about women and I'm just some expert, about women, because I'm certainly not. This is not a women problem, though. This is a man problem. This is a flawed mindset that so many dudes are in, and it's keeping them from, first of all, leveling up in their own lives, and second of all, attracting that woman that they so desperately want. So please find that mission, that goal, that higher purpose that you are pursuing. Make that what your life is about. Make that mission what gets you up out of bed every single day, because it's there somewhere inside of you, whether you realize it or not. And I promise you, you can still be nice. And as you climb this mountain, as you move towards this goal, this higher purpose, everything you could possibly want is going to find its way right to you, including that woman that you desperately want. But it should not be a desperate want. It should just be a nice to have. And I promise you, once you are able to reduce the importance you have around finding a woman, I promise it will be so much easier to actually find one, because they are going to find you. But I hope you enjoyed this video. That's why nice guys finish last is absolute bullshit. You can still be nice. You can still be a good person and have a girl that loves you and cares for you and is willing to go extreme lengths to make you happy. So that's all I got to say for today. But feel free to leave any comments, questions down below, subscribe, all that stuff. But until next time, peace out.